Guys, hope you're good. Welcome back to the channel. It's me, Chris Bradley, owner of the MRR agency and fitnessads.ai. Today I've got a good one in store for you. I have me ranking the worst business advice that coaches somehow are still believing in 2025. So after this video, it won't be the case. You're going to stop believing in it and you're going to understand what to avoid. And if someone's preaching this stuff, then you can run for the hills. Okay, so let's get stuck right in. First things first, let's set the clear ground rules. We have waste of time, in my humble opinion. We have a misused element, so that's the misused here. We have newbie bait that the newbies are falling for. And then we just have some harmless nonsense, right? I could have added another tier here where it was just like, worst of the worst, but I'll be nice in this video today, right? So let's get stuck in. First thing is just post more content. So this one here is like, if it's probably getting given to someone who is already posting content, is probably expressed the fact that they can't grow their business, and some wise ass somewhere has went, just post more content, man. That'll be you. Now, this is usually like, you hear this sort of advice from individuals who have maybe grown their own business and they are getting asked for advice. And the person who doesn't really have much business advice other than just they've grown their own, they'll go, just post more content. So just post more content. Going into 2026 as the 2025 edition, just post more content is, honestly, without any context, it is harmless nonsense. Honestly, if you get the right acquisition strategy, you don't really need to post much more content. A couple of times a week is exactly where you need to be. So this is going in the harmless nonsense category. Next up, we have, you don't need to sell, just provide value. By the way, these are all in quotations because this is the stuff that I've literally seen coming out of people's mouth. So you don't need to sell, just provide value. Now, this is usually coming from individuals who have grown their business from just posting content, just being valuable to their audience, and they've grown their business. Now, what these people fail to realize is, like, it's 2025 going into 2026. Like, this doesn't cut it anymore, right? Because, maybe you just posted value and you grew your business, but what you don't understand is, like, you don't see like 300 other businesses or 200 or 100 or even 20 other businesses who, well, there's a lot of very, very distinct variables, like the owner, like experience, for example, like niche, and all these types of things. So you've got to understand that, this sort of like advice is useless. And it often gets said by people who have got the bias that they just posted value and they got to where they got to. Now, when you start to understand marketing and business, you will realize that not every strategy that got you to the dance will get everybody else to the dance. For example, I used to post before and after photos. It could help me grow my business. And people were just like, Chris, I'd love you to help me grow my business. And I was just like, don't know how, but just post transformations. So I was on the belief that if you just posted results, you grow your business. And I remember one person saying to me, I don't really get clients' results like that. I just get them other results. No, there's an argument for that. But anyway, and I was all of a sudden like, oh, wow. And so this is usually from a newbie who has done okay in business and just starts chiming out business advice. You don't need to say sell, just provide value. In fact, I'm actually making a new tier here for this because they've said you don't need to sell, and it's absolutely ludicrous. So let's make a new category. Let's put it under as red, and let's just call that Luda. Right. And I know this will annoy people, so, not that. So let me just extend it. Oh, look at all the white bits extending as well. We're good. I'm going to need to extend that even more. Yeah, and then make this a little bit smaller. Happy days. So we just made a new category for you don't need to sell, just provide value. Next up, we've got the people who say you don't need to niche down. If you niche down, you'll lose clients. Now, these people have typically just helped hundreds of people in a very large group format. They pride themselves in being burnt out and firefighting. what I will say is, like, it's okay to do this for the first year in business or whatever, but trust me when I say this, you're going to get to a point in your life, in your business, where you want to build it on your terms. And if you have a whole variety of different people who aren't in a particular niche or, you know, client psychographic, then you're going to end up with a head nip. You're not going to know what content to create internally, externally. And so, look, if you're just starting out, maybe you don't need a niche right away. It would be helpful, at least to guide you. But I think it's ludicrous to say that if you don't niche down, you'll lose clients. Because, yeah, like I say, you've always got a bias here with people who advise stuff like this. And to me, once you've been doing this a year, and you know, like, at the end of the day, everybody's got their own set of values. So all niching down is just trying to find people with aligned values so that you can have an easier life and so can they. And also you get on together, which means they probably get a result quicker. So don't niche down, you'll lose clients. I'd probably say it's in the newbie tier, newbie bait. They say that to you to try and, you know, make you feel as if that's why you're struggling because you've niched down. And then you go, yeah, maybe I have went too narrow. We're actually in the world of like sub niches now. Like, you know, that was that famous guy, Francois, who was famous for just train spotting and he went viral. Like, people go viral for anything now. You'll find a sub niche, trust me. Next up, we have, you don't need paid ads until you hit 10K per month. You know, I don't know where they pull the arbitrary figure out. It's like 10,000 steps or whatever. You don't need paid ads until. That's like saying, oh, you don't need to track your calories until. You know, it's like the individual, if you need it, if you think it will accelerate your results, go for it. Now, people say this because they think ads are expensive. But we know that we can run £10 a day ads for our clients and get, you know, 20 to 30 followers per day. So if you think that's expensive, then you're in the wrong game, because maybe you don't pay for anything right now marketing wise, but you pay with your time and you pay with your energy. So you don't need paid ads until you hit 10K per month. This is, my friend, ludicrous. Cool. Next up, we have DM more people. It's a numbers game. Again, you know, everybody talks about this, and yet, like, I've seen people who that's their strategy, but then they say, oh, we don't get you to DM. By the way, just while I'm on the topic, see these people, it's like, we don't get you to send 100 DMs per day. I don't know if you know, but the platforms don't allow 100 DMs per day, so I think you're just saying it because everybody else has said it. It's like people who in the UK who say things like, oh, cookie cutter ads and stuff like that. It's like, that's an American thing to say. Stop just regurgitating what people say. So DM more people. It's a numbers game. It's definitely a misused thing. Look, if you want to go down the DM route, I'm pretty sure if you played the volume game, you know, your Alex Hormozy will be very much on at you with that. But I just think it's misused. I don't think it's necessarily a really bad piece of business advice. It's just overplayed. Now we move on to just be a good coach. Now, this is my personal favourite worst business advice. This advice usually comes from people who are biased towards being a better coach. Now, that's fine. Listen to me real closely here, right? Real closely. If it was about just being a good coach, we would all be millionaires with the best clients ever, right? I'm trying to think of the fat loss equivalent of just be a good coach. It's a bit like saying, you know, just enjoy training. It's like, most of us don't until we do, and then we fight against it, and then we do things that we challenge ourselves with. Like, if it was as simple as just be a good coach, do you think anybody's setting out to be a bad coach? Like, it's the worst advice I have ever heard. I've just realised this ludicrous should be probably up here, but this is a waste of your time listening to this advice. It's usually people with a bias of something to sell you to be a better coach. And it gets you nowhere. I actually think, like, if we lined up 100 coaches, right, who we handpicked, who we feel are ethical and they're out to do well, and we asked them, do you want to be known as a good coach? They would all say yes. Every day they care about their clients, they look after their mental health, they look after their fitness, they care about them, they listen to them, they cry, they consult them, they, you know, mentor them, everything. If it was as easy as just be a good coach, think about that, right? It's one of the worst pieces of advice I hear. And then focus on followers before sales. We all know that's just an absolute waste of time. I don't think I have to spend too much time on that. But guess what? This is here and it's happening because you keep buying like rubbish content courses, personal brand courses and stuff. and you think that just getting followers without actually making sales or setting up a sales process, because you think that your little mind, your little attention mind of thinking you need more followers, goes towards that, the easy route. You cannot cut out sales. You're a business, right? I don't mean your little mind, by the way. I mean your mind towards dopamine and attention, right? So focus on followers before sales. It's ridiculous. In fact, I'm putting it in the ludicrous column. I do realise that ludicrous should probably be up here. Okay, just be yourself. It worked for me. Now, this is one of the worst pieces of advice. Like, people are like, oh, just be yourself. It worked for me. Worked for me. What did being yourself? So what did that involve? I just posted content being myself. All right, okay. How many pieces of content? For how long? 5 years. All right. So I'll just be myself for 5 years then. Like, see, when you actually listen to some of this advice, I did another video on this about, like, you know, the whole mentoring space and stuff like that. And this is all the stuff this is about. Go and watch that video after this, where I break down the full, there's a whole analogy around sharks and bottom feeders of the ocean. But just be yourself. It worked for me. To be honest with you, see if any of this, any advice you ever hear in business, like, has followed by this, run for the hills, right? It worked for me. I know, I've been there. I used to post before and after photos and it grew my business, and then I was like, just post before and afters. And the girl said to me, she's like, I don't really push that side of the journey. All right. So I've been the person who was like, it worked for me. Okay. So just be yourself. It worked for me is waste of time. So there we have it. That is the list of probably the worst business advice coaches still believe in 2025. I think the other worst ones are not getting believed anymore. Thankfully, well, wise to it nowadays. But that's my list. Let me know what you agree with, disagree with. I'd love to know. Let me zoom in real quick so you can see it all. But that is it. I will see you in the next video.